Good morning students, welcome back. So in this video we will discuss the solution of previous week's assignment program questions that were given based on lists in Python. Let us have a look at the first question. For that, let me copy the contents of this question into idle and let us add it as comment. Okay, let us read the question first of all. Write a program to ask the user number of elements to be inserted in a list. Fairly simple. Ask for the input of those many number of elements and insert all those elements in the list. Display the contents of the list. Okay, so I think already this pattern of program has been explained by me in the live class, but still we will have a formal introduction for this program. Let us divide the program into multiple parts. First part of the program is write a program to ask user number of elements to be inserted in a list. So let us start our program. N equal to input, we will write a message that enter number of elements required. Okay, so whenever this program will be executed, n will be the value which will ask the user for the number of elements that he or she would like in the list. Now ask the user for input of those many number of elements and insert those elements in the list. Now students, it is fairly clear and evident that we will add these many number of elements, whatever number of elements the user is asking, we will add these many number of elements in the list. So first of all, what I will do, I will create a blank list of my choice. Let the name of the list be M. Okay, because later on we will make use of looping structure and we will make use of the append method to insert all the elements whatever we want inside this list. So let us create the list prior to this. Now let us try to understand that suppose a user enters 6 here. Okay, suppose a user enters 6 here, that will mean that program should ask for input of different elements 6 times. Okay, suppose a user enters 10 here, that means, so we have now asked the user that how many number of elements he or she will require. So it would be effective that we will make use of looping structure, so that we need not write the number of you can say input. Suppose user is entering 15, that he requires 15 elements in the list. So it is not advisable to take you can say write the input statement 15 times and also, and nevertheless the fact we will never know from the console that when the program is executed that how many elements actually a user is entering. Okay, so looping structure is the best structure that we can follow for this. So let us see. For I in range, now suppose user is entering 5 here, that means I want my loop to be executed 5 times, then only I will be able to ask for the input 5 times. So I will write 0 comma n. Now how will this work? Suppose user has entered 5 elements, so variable that will be used in n is 5. That means how will the loop will be executed? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. At 5th element, whenever 5 is coming, loop will terminate. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means how many times the loop will execute? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so this is one method by which we can use the looping structure. Another method can be, if you do not want 0, we can write 1 comma n plus 1. Now what will happen here? Suppose the user is entering 5, so it will be 5 plus 1 6, so it will be 1 comma 6. That means loop will be executed 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 times. That means when 6 will be encountered, whenever 6 will be encountered, loop will terminate. Okay, so again as you can see, even if we use this looping structure, loop will be executed 5 times. So our job is satisfied whatever version of the loop we are using. Fine. Now let us we are very sure that our loop will now work required number of times as the user is asking for the elements. Let us take the input of the elements. we have prefixed that user will enter numerical input. So k equal to input, enter element, correct? And already in previous week's live class and previous week's video module, I had explained to you about use of append function. What is the use of append function? It will allow us to insert elements one by one into a list. So once we get the element, in this variable k, we will be inserting that element into this list. What was the syntax of append? List name dot append and element. Fine. Once this is done, we have two options. Option number one, we can print the content of the list inside the loop. This is option number one. Option number two, we can print the content of the list outside the loop. Let us have a proper run. Then we will have an understanding that which one is more better as per our logic. Fine. Let us see the execution of the program. Let me save that question 1 11th.py. py is extension of Python file. Okay. Enter number of elements required. Suppose I want 6 elements. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 88, 23 and 6 elements are entered. Now remember students, here we have made or written the print statement inside the loop. Here we have written the print statement inside the loop. So what will be the case? One element is inserted, one element is taken from the user, that element is appended to the list and list is printed because we are printing the list inside the loop. Second element is entered, that element is appended to the list, but do not forget already there was 3 available in the list. So 4 is added at the last, list is displayed. Next element is entered 5, that element is appended to the list. Already we have 3 and 4 in the list, so 5 is added at the last, and the same thing goes on for 6 elements. Okay, so this is one version where after every insertion element or the list is printed. That is one version. Another version can be we do not want to see the list again and again, correct? We want to see the list only once all the elements are inserted. In that case, if that is your requirement, you can keep the list outside the loop. So let us say I want 10 elements. So obviously my program will or my loop will execute 10 times and I will be asked for the input 10 times for 10 elements. Let us say 33, 34, 35, 90, 89, 88, 87, 86, 85, 84, and as you can see 10 elements are inserted and all the elements are displayed only when insertion work is over. Okay, so students, this small program will be very handy to you in the upcoming programs of this chapter and also in many of the cases in 12th standard, that we are asking the user the number of elements he or she may require. We are executing the loop that many number of times and we are appending the elements. And I also showed you the logical or practical difference between printing the list inside the loop and printing the list outside the loop. It is your personal choice, whatever you want or whatever you are comfortable with, that version we can use. Okay students, so that would be all for this video. In the next video, I will be discussing the next questions of the previous week's assignment. Thank you and have a nice day.